Hello and welcome to Talking About Success. I'm Jack Canfield, America's #1 success coach, chairman of the Canfield Training Group, and the author of numerous New York Times bestsellers, including the Chicken Soup for the Soul series and most recently, The Success Principles, how to get from where you are to where you want to be. And today I'd like to introduce you to Cynthia Casas, a transformational intuitive life coach, energy healer, and spiritual activator from Salinas, California. And having discovered a spiritual life through pure intuition, Cynthia is on a mission to help others find their true, authentic selves and help them heal their lives. And Cynthia's ultimate goal is to travel the world to uplift humanity, elevate human consciousness, and heal the earth. Welcome to the show, Cynthia.
Thank you, Jack. Glad to be here.
I'm really glad to have you here. Now, give a little introduction about you, but let's get a little more background about your life and how you got into the work you're currently doing.
So when I was a child, my mom worked long hours and didn't have a lot of free time. This, on top of culture, caused me to feel unheard, voiceless, and alone for many years. I kept to myself, but this caused me to be very much inside of my own head, which was a blessing in disguise because I found myself there. So I still kind of remained internal for many years, but I always knew that there was something inside of me, something to be found, something special, but I never quite knew what that was.
So you discovered yourself, and I'm wondering, was there an aha moment along the way that led you from where you were to doing the work you do now? Was there a turning point?
Yes, it started with a health condition after many years of traditional medical care with little to no results. I was tired of it all. So a friend of mine led me to alternative healthcare, so I went the holistic route. I discovered quantum biofeedback and was so amazed by the results that I became a practitioner myself. I experienced results within 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is I can't even say it. Quantum biofeedback?
Quantum biofeedback is a computer program that's connected to a device that basically reads your signals in your body, your energy, what is happening with that.
And then I think you found the secret. Talk about that.
I did. I found the secret, and I really tuned in because of the message and the potency of the secret.
So you're doing this biofeedback work with people. And how did you get from doing quantum biofeedback to being what you do now? You're a transformational coach, et cetera. Was there a shift that occurred that took you from there to there?
Yes, when I did my biofeedback sessions, I was told repeatedly, you should become a life coach. You should become a life coach. People seem to easily share their lives with me and express gratitude for my words.
So you have this natural ability to just tune into people?
Yeah, I can feel what people are feeling, and somehow their bodies the healing begins automatically.
Just by being in your presence?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So did you ever study energy healing, or did that come naturally to you?
I continued. Just to work off of my natural ability to heal, I kind of dove into education in the healing, and that continues to this day. We're really never done learning.
So I think it's interesting how something negative, like a health issue, can turn into something that becomes a positive shift in your life. I know it's been true for me as well. It's kind of interesting. So you are a life coach, you're a healer. What if I was to work with you, or someone watching this was going to work with you, what could we expect? What would we experience?
As a transformational intuitive life coach, energy healer, spiritual activator, environmental empath, I work with people to discover their natural God-given gifts. I work with them on healing the human traumas. I unite with others in healing the earth and elevating human consciousness.
Let's talk about that for a minute, healing the earth. What's that mean to you?
Well, the earth right now is hurting, and it needs deep healing. As an environmental empath, I feel its pain. And I know that it needs healing at a very deep level.
And what do you see as needs to happen? Like, if we were to go out there and say, okay, let's start doing it, what would you suggest?
When you work on yourself and you work on other people, what happens is the energetic level elevates just naturally. So my goal is to travel the world to places of lower vibrations and work with people, bring in my soul tribe. And what happens is I want to hold spiritual retreats where you bring in people of people of like minds together. And when you work together, what happens is the location where you're at, the energy is elevated just within itself. That elevates the people that live there and the land and the earth consciousness all at the same time.
So it's kind of like a ripple effect of that intention and those rituals and things that you do?
Yes.
That's very cool. You know, my wife's an empath, but more about people. And when did you first discover that you knew you were getting messages or feeling the pain of the earth? I'm curious.
It all came at different times. I actually didn't know what was happening the first time that I experienced a sensation that was, beyond what we know as the norm. I might have been about 10 years old. Yeah, and it was a sensation, but things came here and there. So I'm driving and I see something that's going to happen, and it happens seconds later. So it was just different times.
It's wild. And how when you first got the sense of that, what did you feel, like overwhelmed by it, or I've got to do something, or confused, or what was your reaction?
I was pretty calm, surprisingly, but it just caught me off guard, and I didn't know what to do with it.
Eventually you figured it out.
I read, I asked questions. Yeah, I did a lot of digging.
Yeah, good. So you work with people individually and in groups?
I do. I work with people. I have online courses, and I can do group coaching, spiritual activations, energy healing. I work with people at all levels. I can work with people who want to dive right in, or if people need to take it at their own pace. I just try to be in a place where anybody can come in at any point, and it just needs to be convenient for people.
Can you share with us an example of maybe someone you've worked with and what happened for them, just to give us a feel for what goes on with your work and what people can expect?
Yes, there was one person who she was not allowing herself to love fully. And what we discovered is it was based off of past events that were no longer occurring. So once she realized where it came from, she was able to live more fully in who she was and love freely. And this in turn, not only did it help her relationship, but it also helped her because she became an energy worker. She was able to love, open her heart, and her work was more potent by that as well.
Interestingly. Do you find that people who work with you get so turned on by it that they also want to do the work? Is that a unique example, or does that happen a lot?
That happens a lot.
Yeah, I imagine. I find that people are drawn to people that are like them. Like, some people are drawn to Tony Robbins. He's got all this energy, and I'm much more calm, attract a different kind of person. And a lot of times I think people think that, well, who am I to be out there? There's so many people already doing it, but then there's you're unique, and then you attract that energy. Very cool. So you talk about why you think that this work is so important right now in the evolution of the planet and people. Talk about that a little bit.
So the world is a living, breathing thing. And just like we have physical bodies, emotional, energetic, the earth is the same. It's got the same makeup, if you will. So just like we need healing at all levels, right, inside and outside, the earth does as well. So the energy is felt. When you go into a room, there's been a celebration or a fight, you can feel that energy. So if you really tune in, you can also feel the energy of the earth, and that can also be helped. We have hurt this earth so bad, fracking, mass deforestation, chemicals released into the environment, and we need to take care of it. We need to heal that, but it goes at every level: energetic, emotional, physical, all of that.
When you look at the state of the world right now, and you see all the things that are going on, like you mentioned, fracking and the pollution and the oceans being, all the plastic and all that, are you optimistic?
Absolutely. I feel that more and more people are catching on to what's happening. They're more aware and more conscious in their own day-to-day activities just by catching on to what's happening.
So you said the Earth's a living being, and I believe that in my experience as well. I just get blown away by, for example, there's little holes in the ocean that when the acidic stuff gets too much, then it releases alkaline. It's like it's just constantly like our body just balancing itself. But you talk about healing the earth at the soul level. What do you mean by that?
I mean the energetic level as well. So when I go out there and I do my work with people, I believe like just the way that we heal our emotions as well when we get to what's happening deep down inside of us. Mm-hmm. When I do that work, I feel that it's elevating the the energies of the earth overall. And when we uplift, humanity, each other, I believe that that also positively impacts the earth's energy as well.
So you talk about healing the past, traumas and so forth, which we've all had at some level. Just by being human, growing up with parents and going to school and being part of sports teams and all bullies and all that. Talk a little bit about your thoughts about healing the past and why that's so important.
It's important because when we can identify what hurt us in the past, mm-hmm. we are able to release that. And what happens is it's almost as if our hearts open up, mm-hmm. and that opens up a world of so many things. So I discovered my gifts and actually expanded them. They got stronger the moment that I realized that the past hurts were what were hindering my abilities from improving. And when people are stuck in these negative emotions, they don't realize that when you live in anger or depression, it holds you back. So I found my gifts when I finally released the hurts of the pasts.
And you think we all have gifts that are hidden in there underneath all that?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that everyone has a gift to be discovered. And the moment that they find that they can release the past, if they are ready to look for that or try to discover what it is, I am here for them to assist. I'd be happy, I'd be honored to be that resource to help find that gift.
That's cool. So one of the things I think that stops people from healing their past, from expressing their gifts, whatever, is fear. I see a lot of fear. And how do you deal with fear? How do you navigate fear in your life?
I actually allowed fear to keep me silent for over 30 years. And what I want the world to know is that life begins when you allow your dreams to be bigger than your fears.
And how do you do that?
Sometimes it's a leap of faith. It's like when you've got to jump into the swimming pool for that first time and you're scared. Sometimes you just have to act, and jump. Following your heart is always going to lead you in the right direction. And when you're introduced to something and you're not certain if it's right, it's a matter of listening to yourself deep down inside. And if it feels right and it's a little scary, just go for it.
So feel the fear and jump anyway.
Yes.
I love that. That's good. I know for me, fear was a big one for a long time. And then when I started to take steps into following your heart, like you said, listen to fear, listen to yourself, do what you love, and do you find that when people let go of the fear, they start to follow their heart, they get in touch with their passions, and therefore then the passion becomes stronger than the fear?
Yes, it's a spark. And when people follow that intuition, mm-hmm. they follow that spark, I feel that they are very inspired. They just, it becomes, they're driven and unstoppable. And it's really amazing to see what becomes of people when they do follow that little spark and they push their fears aside.
Yeah, there's a wonderful quote by Howard Thurman, who was Martin Luther King's spiritual advisor. Hard to believe that Martin Luther King had a spiritual advisor, but he did. And he said something like, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive, and then do it, because what the world needs are people who've come alive. And I think it's what you were talking about earlier. When you're come alive, you're passionate, your heart opens up, you start listening to your intuition more, and then you start paying attention to things like the feelings of the earth, the feelings of other people, and then what's needed, and you bring that forward. That's very cool. So you talked about not paying attention for 30 years, being in the fear and in the silence. And I think you were in a plumbing business. Was that a family business?
Yes.
What was the moment that you went from, okay, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm going to do this instead? What was that like?
So I worked in the family business and eventually became owner and have been there for 28 years.
Wow.
And I love the business, but it wasn't what drove me. I was feeling like something was missing out of my life, and I know it was 28 years, but the moment you realize that there's something else for you and you just go for it is the moment you realize that it's okay. It's okay to change directions at any point in your life. It's really never too late, because if you're going to do something every day, you should love what you do.
Mm-hmm. I would say when your vocation feels like a vacation, then you've arrived.
Yes.
Was it hard to have a business that was successful and step away from it? Did it take a long time? Did it just decision one day, I'm going to do this, and bam? How'd that work?
It actually was extremely easy.
It was?
Yes. It's something that you love to do. So, you know, you walk away from your baby. I've been there for so long. My dad started the business. But it's a time where it's time to move on. Mm-hmm. And what you're going towards is something grander. So there's no thought, really.
So unfortunately, we always run out of time when we do this because it's a show that has a beginning and an end. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers today that we haven't covered or talked about?
I would like to let everybody know that it's never too late to follow your dreams. To look for something inside of them. It might not look like energy work or healing. It doesn't matter. You could dance, you can paint. But look for what's inside of you that's going to make you happy, that's going to give you that motivation to get up every morning rather than dragging out of bed. And if they need inspiration, I'm here for everybody. It doesn't matter what it looks like.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So if someone does want to reach out to you, work with you, take an online course, go somewhere and help heal the earth, where do they go? How do they find you?
They can find me at www.cynthiacasas.com. All the social handles and all that good stuff is all on there. And for those that are looking at uniting and elevating earth consciousness and healing the earth, can find me at unity@cynthiacasas.com.
Very cool. Well, I really appreciate you being here and sharing this with you. I wish we had more time. Your energy is so soothing and beautiful. You're a safe space. I can see how the work you do works with people. So again, thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jack. I was so happy to be here.
And thanks to all of you who tuned in to join us today. And be sure to tune in again next time when I'll be interviewing another transformational leader who can help you live a happier, more successful, more meaningful, and more fulfilling life. Until then, take good care of yourself and the earth. Thank you for watching this episode of Talking About Success. Remember, your success is a journey. So for more information and free resources to help you, be sure to visit jackcanfield.com/learn more.